Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Keku K-Play, which is similar to a Pandora box. This was sent to me by Ploy Lab for review purposes. As you can see, it comes in a nice yellow bright box. And what you will find with this is you can play both emulation games on it, but you can also access the Android side of things, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But as it stands, it's mainly an emulation machine. Apologies for the angle of the video on this one. I had some issues with the tripod. But yeah, in the box you get an assortment of things. You get a wireless mouse. You get the standard HDMI cable and also the power lead. You also get some replacement buttons, as well as the USB cable as well. You'll also notice that you get actually what looks like two corners or two shells of the made of ABS plastic. Now that's because this particular K-Play, it can be split into two separate controllers, which can also be connected up to your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Switch, so you can use these as an additional controller. I'll show you how you do that later on. You also get the manual, which actually is in English, which makes a change. I would suggest reading through that to see exactly how you set this up, because it wasn't an easy thing to do when I first got it. I did have issues with it originally, but since then, Keku have actually updated the firmware on it. So if we look at the K-Play itself, as you can see, it's very similar to the Pandora box. You have your dual joysticks or joypads, and you have your 6-button configuration. The buttons are okay. I wouldn't say they're fantastic. I would definitely not compare them to the Pandora box. I don't think the buttons are anywhere near as good as those. On the back, you have the power button, you have the pause reset button, you have the HDMI cable, USB cable, and the reset. On the back, as you can see, you have two flaps that you can lift up for the cable management. This is for when you connect it up to the likes of an Xbox or a PlayStation. I didn't actually try it with the Xbox or the PlayStation, only because the cabling on this system is very, very short, and it just wasn't going to be suitable for me to do it for where my TV and entertainment system is located. So the uniqueness of this is you can split it down the middle, and it then becomes two controllers, separate controllers. So you can play one or two player for either the emulation side or connecting it to your game console. Very easy to do. It just slots in and then it locks at the bottom. One thing I would say is I couldn't imagine this controller setup being very good to play Xbox and PlayStation games. I found it very, very difficult to play the Android side of things. It's just not practical enough. When it comes to the emulation side, yeah, it's fine, but personally, I wouldn't be using it for Xbox or PlayStation. So Keku have actually updated the firmware and everything on this machine to version 2, as well as the software. The version 1 really wasn't very practical. It had lots of glitches with it, and Keku listened to the reviewers who gave them feedback and did refresh everything. It now works a lot better as an emulation station rather than Android. My only criticism is, and I hope they really sort this out, is the cabling side of things. The power cable that you get with it is far too short. It means that it's going to be very difficult to plug it into the mains so that you're sat far enough away from the TV. You're going to have to use an extension cable. So I really think that they need to look at that and include a much longer power lead than what's included at the moment. So what you're going to get is 27 emulators built into the K-Play altogether, which is going to include all of the popular ones. And I'll just flick through them all now so you can see exactly what's included. There's a total of 8,601 games on this particular one that I was sent by Ploy Lab as well. So there was plenty of games to choose from. And don't forget, you can still access the Android side of things also. But to be honest with you, after a previous experience using the Android, I really don't think it's suitable for the controller setup on this machine. So I would just tend to stick with the emulation side. As you can see, you do get included a lot of emulation platforms included. It actually runs on Emulec in the background, as well as RetroArch. So anybody with these systems will find it very easy to go through the menus and so on and to set it up. One thing I would say is just be careful with RetroArch that it doesn't lose the settings for the controller, because if it does, you will then have to use a keyboard to plug it in to reset everything up, which is what happened to me, and it did take quite some time to do. If we quickly look to see how it works with some of the platforms, and you'll get a rough idea on the comparison between this and a Pandora box. What I will say is I'm not going to be going into the Android side of it, because I don't think the Android does it justice. It causes more issues than enough, but it is there. You can go on YouTube and so on, and you can get up to 2K resolution when watching videos. But as it stands, and my personal experience, it's not a very nice system to use for the Android side of things. However, when it comes to the emulation side of things and playing retro gaming, it's actually not that bad at all. It's pretty good. It's, I would say, basic compared to the practicalities of the Pandora box. And if you're going to compare the two, which many will, the Pandora box will still come out on top. I think the Keku sort of lost their IP when they changed it from being a multi-platform system, i.e. Android and emulation, to just the emulation side of it. But I do totally understand why they've done that. But it's lost some of its IP. So I'm going to stop talking now and let you enjoy some of the gameplay. And I'll see you in a few minutes with my final thoughts. Hi guys, so there you have it. That's the K-Play by Keku. Final impressions. For me personally, it's not something that I would be spending a lot of time using. I've used the Pandora box, different variations of it, and the Pandora box is a much better machine altogether. Build qualities are better on the Pandora box, the menu systems are better, you get more games, you tend to get more emulation on it. However, as it stands, you get 27 emulation platforms on this, just over 8,000 games. So for what it is, it's okay. The Android side of it, I don't think works. I said that originally when I was sent revision 1. The controller setup on this just doesn't fit and isn't practical for Android, though you can watch your YouTube and Netflix and stuff like that on it. So, you do have that additional thing that the Pandora box doesn't do. People are going to compare the two, and that's just one of those things. It will be interesting to see where Keku goes with the K-Play in the future with revision 3. But as it stands, revision 2, it's an okay machine. It's not going to blow Pandora box out of the water. So thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.